another 5-minute murder. You can see I'm here in the home studio today, and it is Thursday. I know this is going to release tomorrow morning, but I wanted to get this done early before I head to Pittsburgh. So this weekend I will be in Pittsburgh for World Oddities Expo, out there doing the thing, slinging some games, doing all the stuff. But wanted to do this 5-minute murder. We're going to pick a card. We're going to talk about him for a few minutes, and then we will go from there. So, we got the chairman of the board, David Barksdale, tonight. So, David Barksdale was born on May 24th, 1947. He died on September 2nd, 1974, also known as King David. He was an American gang leader from Chicago, Illinois. Barksdale was the founder of the Black Disciples. After many struggles with their rivals, the Black Stone Rangers, he and Larry Hoover decided to merge and create the Black Gangster Disciple Nation. They were trying to stop the gang violence in Chicago. The Black Stone Rangers would not agree, and Barksdale was shot in 1970, but survived. Ultimately, Barksdale died on September 2nd, 1974, due to kidney failure at age 27. And I believe that kidney failure was due in part to being shot, right? I think that he was shot and it affected his kidneys, and 4 years later it eventually caught up with him and killed him. But David Barksdale is an interesting figure. You know, we put him in the game because I wanted representation of, some of the criminal organizations or the crime or the gang leaders and stuff that were around when I grew up. So, we always talk about the mafia and stuff like that, but, American crime is a real thing out there. And it's interesting that a lot of these crimes or these criminal organizations were started not with criminal intent necessarily, but almost with altruistic ideas, right? The Black Gangster Disciples started because they wanted to end all the violence on the streets there in Chicago. Of course, that ends up turning into something else, but their ultimate goal was to stop the violence that was already happening to them. But they grew up in such a violent place where there wasn't anything else, and to get what you needed or to get what you wanted, you had to steal, right? I grew up right outside of Philadelphia, in Wilmington, Delaware, right? And I grew up on the street. And so all you knew was how to survive. It wasn't like we had a whole bunch of money. And if you wanted something, you had to take it. Living in the street, it was all about respect, right? If somebody respected you, and you can't disrespect somebody. And so, like, a lot of these, what became criminal organizations started out as like this fellowship and this group of guys or group of people coming together for a common purpose and to have something better in the neighborhoods in which they grew up in. And ultimately, because there are no opportunities in the inner city often, and you end up turning to crime to get what you need, because the quick thing is sell drugs, right? You get a lot of money real fast by selling drugs, or getting involved with larger criminal organizations that are having you do things for them, and whether it's collecting money or numbers or whatever the thing is. In the inner cities, there's not anything else, right? Everybody's trying to take care of their little piece of the neighborhood, and I have control over this. And it's interesting because, of course, David Barksdale is a very different kind of person, and a whole different level, because David Barksdale was also brilliant, right? He created a lot of the ideas and really formed the group as the Black Gangster Disciples, right? And made them into a well-oiled machine because of his ideas, because he was a very, very intelligent guy. He understood the ins and the outs of business, but chose to do it in a less than savory way, right? Because that's where he was in life. That's what he had around him. And so, some of us who grew up in the inner city have this idea, and I'm not removed from that. When you have control over that one block or that one neighborhood, and everybody respects you there, and you can get things done, and you get this very false sense of security that you're untouchable and you're bigger and better than you really are, right? And so it's always funny. My dad used to tell me all the time that there's always somebody badder out there, right? No matter how bad you are, there's somebody that is more willing to do that stuff. It's the same kind of idea in Star Wars, right? In, what is it? Episode 1, right? They say there's always a bigger fish. And it's true. There's always somebody. I was just watching Netflix. I was going through, and they had the new documentary or the docudrama on Griselda Blanco, right? And she was the godmother. She was ferrying cocaine in and out of this country for a very, very long time, and did all kinds of crazy stuff, innovated here in the States as far as drug running is concerned. And, but with that being said, this is drama, right? Sofia Vergara plays her. And it was funny. I had somebody last weekend in Kansas City come to the booth, and they were flipping through, and they had seen the documentary, and they said, "That's Griselda Blanco?" And I said, "Yeah, that's what she actually looked like. Doesn't look anything like Sofia Vergara. Nothing like her." And it's funny, but, reality versus the TVs or how our culture has really embraced and made it look so great, this whole gangster lifestyle is difficult, because it has never been what they portray it to be up on the screen, right? It is always much darker, much grittier, much more difficult. Many of those guys had very, very short life expectancy, right? Because there was always somebody bigger and badder, and somebody who was more willing to do nasty things and to hurt other people to get what they wanted. Ultimately, David Barksdale pays that price, and because of the stuff that he's involved in, he ends up getting shot. And 4 years later, he ends up dying from complications because of that. It is a common story, because no matter how smart you are, no matter how bad you think you are, there's always somebody looking to take that spot, right? And if you're in a very, very violent society, a very violent subculture of that society, it's easy for that to happen. And we see that when it comes to the gangster lifestyle or the criminal lifestyle, that it's very difficult to make it long term. There are very, very few mafia guys that lived until old age, right? That weren't either in prison or dead, right? And it's not any different when we're looking at some of these other street gangs and stuff. No matter how large they are, somebody is always looking, right? So anyway, thank you guys for joining us for another 5-minute murder. I don't know how long it was because I ramble on, but thank you guys. Come and see us if you're out in Pittsburgh at the World Oddities Expo. I will be out there ready to rock and roll. I will also be out doing a little bit more Route 666 while I'm out there, and that should be a lot of fun. Another big thing, we've got, I just got back that the editor has looked at the book, and I've got some edits to make, but I'm going to release this here first. Nobody else has heard this yet, so you guys are going to get it right here. but the official title of the book is Beyond the Headlines: True Crimes, Myths, and Legends. So I'm super excited to get that out and to have that out to you guys. It looks like April is the time. So get ready, because we will be ready for some Beyond the Headlines. Volume 1, Serial Killers. So talk to you guys soon. Come and see me in Pittsburgh.
The number you have dialed is not available at present. Please leave your message after the beep.
Yeah, trendsetter, whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center, hit it dead center. Bullseye, hit it the most, there's no misses. Something like fish in a barrel, it's no different. Blindfold on me, I still got
Without me, I said